Rajat Dhar, the common man, was interested in knowing how much tax relief, something that the middle class was waiting for far too long. That has happened. The politicians, some of them, they may not be satisfied and very happy with it, but the common man definitely is, because no income tax till 12 lakh of income. But then if you see the breakup, which is on the screens as well, every income group seems to be saving some money at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yes, if you say that when we break down the budget and analyze it and taking into consideration the exemption of under Section 87 under the new tax regime, we see that yes, from 75,000 to 1 lakh being in the hand. But then there are actually two different set of, you can say, retail investors, or you say consumers for that matter, because, or salaried people for that matter, because there are some people who are very heavy on their home loans and other such HRA consumables, whereas there are larger chunks which are not too much dependent on that. But once we run different permutation combinations, say across, say for example, if a person is having a 15 lakh of income or a 20 lakh of income, vis-a-vis a person having a 12 or 10 lakhs of income, we will see that yes, there are certain cases where when we constitute all the exemptions being availed based on the loan, based on the different deductions, then we see that yes, for some there is an old tax regime which is still good, and for some there is a new tax regime. But yes, there would be convergence happening, and we will be seeing that people moving to the new tax regime. However,
will there be an automatic shift to that?
There would be eventually automatic shift to that, and slowly and steadily more and more people will switch to, because we have already known that more than 70% are already to new tax regime, and the objective of the government is to move that. And obviously, as is anticipated, the HUF will be next under the hammer in next 1 or 2 budgets that we foresee. But having said that, this is just one aspect of it. Like just before, there was a session by our Honorable Finance Minister, and she said to one of the queries that the tax is on the income. Now, whether you have an income from your earned sources or from the capital gains, it is to be taxed. Yes, it is to be taxed, but you can't have LTCG, SCGG and STT also clubbed into the taxes in between, because there are many countries where when you are already paying an STT, the LTCG or the shorter, there is not dual or multiple taxation. So then that is also a disadvantage, because this also questions our comfort in our government that they are not profiteering out of it just because the regulations have not come up. There's a multiple taxations going on there.
You know, there are direct taxes, indirect taxes. On top of everything, you're paying some cess as well, because ultimately the middle class that is strengthening the economy is also bearing the brunt of the subsidies or the freebies that are announced by the government. It all goes from the pocket ultimately of the Aam Aadmi itself. And any sort of relief, Rajat, is welcome, but it's never enough.
So one more thing, like when we're talking about the Viksit Bharat, the main irony of the fact is the government is saying that we have not, they are boosting it that we have not curtailed our capital expenditure and it is going to remain same. Now the point, let me put a simple factor. Your inflation is growing at say 4.1 or 5% or 6%. Your earlier capex expenditure has not been covered fully. You have not spent that money. And this year you're already saying, okay, we are not reducing the capital expenditure. So technically you are not growing the capital expenditure. Your earlier one is unspent, this is not spent, and the irony is that they are saying that we are setting up AI and 5 to 10% of the educational budget will be gone to that. Educational budget increase has been just 4.1%, which is less than the inflation. So when you are not even contributing to the leverage of information or a knowledge at the AI level itself, that within the ambit of the education itself, how would you compete to China or whatsoever that Vietnam and Thailand in the competitive landscape and then increase the GDP and
comment from our Jagannathan on that?